Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today I wanted to get a little bit more in depth on this guy. This is the new Berkley chop block. So this is the size 10. This is the big one. And if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you may have seen the video that came out a few days ago where I was on the water catching them with the chop block. That is one. Oh, it's a good one. That is a nice one. This is why you throw glides. He's got it good too. Come here. Both hooks again. Right in the top of the old face. That's a good one. That one's pushing 4. Man, so much fun. I've been very, very impressed with this bait. I've been testing it probably since, man, I'm going to say August maybe. Quite a bit some time ago, to the point where, I mean, these are some of the prototypes they sent me. They're not even in the actual packaging. That's just kind of the raw boxes that they sent me. Been very, very impressed with them. And there's some features to it that make it really outstanding in my opinion. And I didn't dive into a lot of it with respect to the video where I was on the water catching them because I was too busy catching them. But I wanted to kind of show you a little bit more up close some of the things that I think make this bait pretty special. One being that the price point is good. You know, if you're talking about fishing glide baits in general, depending on the glide baits that you're buying, it's not uncommon to pay $150 or $200 for some of the bigger custom made baits. They work great, but I don't think that they work any better than this. In fact, I think there's a lot of advantages to a soft glide bait. One is realistically, or profile wise, feel wise, movement wise, they look a lot more natural than a lot of your bigger hard glide baits. Now, I love glide baits. You can see I got piles of them sitting up here. So it's something I've been tinkering with for quite some time. But I do think we're going to continue to see a very, very big movement to your softer glide baits like the chop block. Now, there's a lot of you out there that probably see the chop block when I hold it like this and they go, well, how's that different than the Nessie? Berkley came out with a Nessie last year, which is this guy right here. And there are a lot of differences. So if I hold them up next to each other, you can see profile-wise, build-wise, completely different. The chop block comes with a built-in stinger system. The Nessie is just much longer, has a single hook on it. You've also got these pre-molded in fins on the Nessie that allow that bait to run differently than the chop block. Chop block's a really aggressive, wide-moving bait that slashes hard when you chop it, but that's not the only way to fish it. And I'll get into that in a minute, but let's kind of walk through the chop block. So a couple of things to point out. There are 3 sizes of it. In the video, the one that I was fishing was the 6-inch, this little guy, which is a bite getter. Then there's an 8-inch right here, and then the big 10-inch. So you can see a bunch of different sizes. Big, go from a little profile bait up to a big bait, but profile-wise, this is made to resemble either a panfish, like your bluegills or crappies, or your shad, bigger gizzard shad profile right here. So it is a different, more natural profile than, say, the Nessie. One of the coolest things, though, is the hook mounting system. So similar to the Nessie, the front treble hook snaps into place. It's got a little metal arm that just grabs it, and it snaps in, holds that hook perfectly in place. Now, and there's also a hook slot. So you slide one hook in, snap it into place, and you're good to go. And then you've got a pre-made stinger hook system that's got a special little V-bend in the hook that sits in a groove, and then you've got a magnet. So that hook will be pulled to it, and then you just snap that little V-bend into the slot, just like so, and it sits perfectly just like that. So when you are fishing it, the hardware stays in place, but when a fish comes up and bites it, it'll actually pull everything away, and you can separate the bait away from the hook hanger system, which is really nice because when you separate the bait, you do allow that fish not to get the leverage that they'd get with a fixed hook system. So that's a really nice system that they've built with respect to it. Now, these are Fusion 19 hooks, so they're laser sharp. I'm actually a little concerned about getting stuck with it right now because I do have hooks all over the place, and it's that magnet likes to hold it and pull it. Anyways, the point being, the hardware system is great. Now, material-wise, I think a lot of people probably look at these and they say, well, soft glide bait won't hold up over time. I'm here to tell you that the material that they use on these, even though it's a softer material, it is very, very durable. I have yet to actually have one tear up to the point where you can't fish it. In the video that you saw me fishing the other day, I think I caught 7 or 8, and the bait looks brand new still. There's not a mark on it. The bait itself has a mesh system that runs through the plastic. You can kind of see it maybe in the middle in the joint, but that mesh system just allows all the plastic to grab and hold to it, and really creates a very durable system. Then you've got your kind of paintbrush material tail on it, pre-cut to look perfect. Just a really nice bait overall. Now, if you're talking about movement, one of the things that I really liked about this was the different ways to fish it. Now, if you chop it, which means you kind of just give like a half reel turn, the bait really does a nice kind of wide glide motion. But if you want to take your rod tip and just walk the dog with it, you can just lightly tap it and that bait real tight walk the dog. And if you just want to cast and straight retrieve and get a nice, good swimming motion on the retrieve, you can do that as well. So you can do almost anything you want with relative ease, which is one of the issues that you run into with glide baits. Some of the best glide baits out there are the ones that actually perform with relative ease, meaning you don't have to know the exact nuances of the bait to trigger that fish into biting it. Some baits out there, they're really good, but they take a ton of time to figure out exactly how far to turn the reel handle to chop it, exactly the speed. There's a lot of little tiny nuances that if you're not really keyed into that bait, it's not going to generate the bites that you want. This is one of those baits that I would say is really good for a beginner level up to a professional. There's not a wrong way to use it. The bait responds really well to a lot of different types of reel movement, rod tip movement, sweeps of the rod, retrieve speeds. You really can't do anything wrong with it from what I've seen, and it generates a lot of strikes. Now, one of the other things that I want to point out that I think is a major advantage to a soft glide over hard glides is the hookup ratio, in my opinion, is so much better with soft glides, because when the fish bites it, say they eat the whole bait, they can actually fold the bait up and get all the hooks. In fact, I did have a fish catch from the other video where, I mean, the whole bait was folded up in the fish's mouth like this. That would never happen with a hard glide. A hard glide, you might be able to get a 90-degree bend out of it, but when that fish came to bite it, it would actually like keep the fish's mouth open because they wouldn't be able to close it further than that, versus a soft glide where they just compress it and put the whole bait in their mouth. Very similar to eating an actual live shad. That fish is malleable and it'll just fold. So that's one major advantage, in my opinion, to it. I also want to point out, these are slow sink baits. These are not baits that are made to be fished at really extreme depths. They, in my opinion, you're talking about fishing the upper couple feet of the water column, but they're glide baits, so they have a lot of draw power. So if you're in clear water, you can pull fish from a really long distance. But, for the most part, these baits will run a couple of feet under the surface. They're slow sink models, but you can add some weight to it. And that's another nice thing with respect to your soft glide baits like this. You can actually take nail weights. Like if I find a nail weight, I got so much stuff on my desk. Here's a little screw-in nail weight. tungsten nail weight. You can actually, you know, just puncture the material and screw it in just like that. You can see I just started to screw it in. So if you want to add little bits of weight, you can do that very easily with your soft glide baits. So you can get these baits to run deeper, but right out of the box, slow sink. You know, they're not meant to be fished at extreme depths just because of the way they sit in the water column. But don't be afraid to play around with different nail weights that you can add into them to get them to run at different depths, to change the action up a little bit. A lot of different things that you can do with it is just a little tidbit, a little tip for you. But overall, I gotta say, I've been very impressed with these. I think that you guys will really like them. Price point is great for a glide bait. They seem to generate a ton of strikes for me. Get a lot of interest from both smallmouth and largemouth. Have not had much experience fishing them around spotted bass. Don't know why they wouldn't work on spotted bass though. I've caught a bunch of pike on it. The bigger size one right here, the 10, I'm looking forward to throwing this fall for muskie. I want to see really how it holds up to a big muskie. Have not caught one yet on it, but I think it'll be great for that. Just a great bait. The chop block, it's out now. A lot of cool colors. The profile's great. Overall, very good quality soft glide bait. So let me know if you've used it. Throw your comments up in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Overall, looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Go check them out. I'll put links in the video description for you. And stay tuned. We have a new video coming out tomorrow.